The Sky Striker's burden. The region has been plagued by war for far too long. What was the purpose? Why had it started? At this point, the details are known to only a few. Boots on the ground have been completely replaced by drones and other unnamed armaments. The fighting has not let up, yet neither has the march of technology. Sky Striker is the latest super advanced technology developed to combat the expansionist empire. None could deny her incomparable talent. After she breezed through a training program considered challenging, Rei became a full-fledged Sky Striker ace. An alarm heralded an incoming enemy assault. She needed no further command to mobilize and deploy to the combat zone to fight in defense of her people. After changing into her base suit, large fighting force came into her view. The enemy had arrived. Flying at high altitude, she made a beeline for the battlefield. Her approach was the same as ever, her focus and sense of duty unwavering. Even so, it was to be a battle unlike any other she had experienced. Rei made short work of the enemies who rushed towards her. Having done her duty, she was clear to return to base, but just then she encountered another enemy, a little girl around her age. She was holding a Sky Striker. The suddenness of the girl's assault caught Rei off guard. This was the cutting-edge technology of Rei's nation. How had it fallen into the enemy's hands? Only for a moment. With deft timing, Rei equipped X-005 Kaina, suited for hand-to-hand combat, but the girl was unfazed and fought back relentlessly with her Sky Striker. The duel continued, neither gaining the upper hand, until eventually, Rei's opponent suddenly stopped and lowered her weapon. After backing off a significant distance, she turned and left. The battle ended. The clash, in particular, the similarity of her adversary to herself, had left Rei shocked and confused. Though lacking any detectable emotion, the girl was evidently a biological being, a human like Rei, and she was also a Sky Striker ace of equal ability to herself, or possibly even greater. Rei had only ever fought machines, but an enemy is an enemy. Still, she felt extremely conflicted. The prospect of having to end another girl's life left her wrecked without doubt. Clearly, there will be no such hesitation from the girl, whose lifelong duty has been to purge any enemy that crossed her path. Ever since being born in the expansionist empire, this girl had been treated as a weapon and developed to counter the threat of the Sky Striker ace. All that crossed her mind was the most efficient path to victory. Rei being another human was not a factor. Still, it had not escaped her attention how Rei had struggled with her indecision during their fight. On reflection, she began to faintly feel something she couldn't express. It had been some time since Rei had clashed with an enemy nation's Sky Striker ace. The encounter was still playing on her mind. They had much in common, even besides their age. Amid her feelings of shock and consternation, this made Rei a little happy. She hoped they would meet again and get a chance to talk. Though her allegiance differed, she would not deny her natural desire. That said, going in with her weapon lowered was not an option. She would be cut down in an instant. It was going to take force to get anything out of that girl. As it happened, their paths crossed again in battle. Rei was well prepared, having analyzed their previous encounter. Who would come out on top? The finest margins would decide. Just barely managing to force her opponent onto the back of her foot for a second, Rei pounced. She struck with black-garbed Sky Striker ace into the ground with great force. Then, she descended in pursuit. By the time her opponent returned to the fighting stance, Rei stood ready, clad in a different ornament, colored in blue. Rei held back. Even so, her opponent readied her blade, as if preparing to strike, but she didn't. Something diverted her attention.
My comms, they're being jammed.
Sky Striker Ace Shizuku is a mode designed for protecting bases. Among the X series, it is unique for its top-notch defense and electronic warfare capabilities. This is what Rei had planned to enable them to talk. However, it meant that the enemy's radar would show contact lost at their location. An extraction unit would be surely on its way. They likely had a minute tops. "My name is Ray. What's yours?" The black-suited Sky Striker Ace seemed unwillingly to reply, but finally opened her mouth.
Rose.
Although she deemed the conversation pointless, keeping it going would buy her time. At the same time, she scanned for a gap and raised defense, to no avail. Even retreating might prove difficult, given her injuries. Waiting for comms to be restored was thus the only option. That or an all-or-nothing attack.
30 seconds to go.
Ray remained in a combat stance, observing Rose keenly. The impact when she fell must have been very severe. It seemed it cracked her visor. Her face was partially visible. Although probably in pain, she wore a total placid expression. One might have mistaken her for a robot or a doll, except Ray could detect deep emotion within Rose's red eyes. Exasperation, or perhaps lamentation.
Another 15 seconds.
That was enough. Ray knew she couldn't strike the finishing blow. She wanted Rose to live, and to live a life where she did not have to end the lives of others.
8 seconds remained.
You don't want to fight either, do you? Ray wasn't expecting any real response to her question. She simply felt the need to express herself.
2 seconds.
She smiled gently, turned, and departed.
0.
Rose comms came back online. The extraction unit arrived in well under a minute. When they picked her up, she was treated like a crashed drone. Rose propped her up, immobilized body, thoughts racing through her mind.
Why didn't she finish me off? And what made her smile like that?
Rose was disturbed by a deluge of questions from deep within. Disturbed, but not displeased. There was warmth, and in turn, a thawing of her hardened heart. It was the first time that she experienced kindness. Not long after this, Ray's nation adopted a new military plan, codenamed the Striking Stratagem. They now had the material advantage, so it was the right time for an assault on an expansionist empire's central base. Not wanting to cross blades with Rose again, Ray resolved to bring out a swift end to the conflict. And with this, she boarded Sky Striker Mech Armory, Hercule's base, all ready for departure. The signal was given, and Ray struck out on her journey, soaring into the sky.